morning, everyone. Today we're going to take a look at The Birds Sing, a little tune that I wrote for my jazz sextet, which is trumpet, tenor sax, keyboards, bass drums, and three vocalists. And so this little tune I wrote is in 7/4, and the nucleus of the idea came from the piano part that I wrote first. And it's a little ba 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 da ba 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 da ba. Nice little 7/4 feel. I love 7. Really good for rock, funk, those kind of things. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to make the main horn idea a little contrapuntal. And so there's some counterpoint going on a little bit between the two horns. And then I wrote a couple of simple little pads here and there in thirds. Very simple arrangement. And also the form of the tune is a little asymmetrical in the way I design it, which I really am happy with. So here is The Birds Sing. Take it away, Fred. Okay, The Birds Sing. The nucleus of this song, what started this song, the germ, if you will, was this riff, this 7/4 pattern that I came up with in the key of C major, and that sounds like this. Okay, so that's the intro, and that's where the whole song started. And then right after that, the vocal comes in at letter A. Now, the horns, which is just for two horns, arrangement is for trumpet and tenor sax. So when the horns come in, they just come in with a nice pad. The trumpet's on middle C, and the tenor sax is on the A below middle C, and the chord changes are D7. We have a quick change over the and of 4, which is E minor, 7th, and then up to F. And in here I went E to C, which is E is the major 7th, and C is the 5th of the F major 7th chord. So it's just couplings of thirds, just moving right up the scale. Okay, and then this is kind of the signature horn riff of the tune, which basically plays off the piano riff. It's ba 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 da 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 da. And then what I wanted to do was I wanted kind of a contrapuntal, almost classical-esque kind of feel. So you'll see that the tenor sax is not playing exactly what the trumpet is. Okay, the tenor sax they play the first two quarter notes together, and then the trumpet follows the piano riff with these upbeats, okay, and then the tenor sax just keeps playing eighths. And so every time they line up here, I have them in a 6th here, I have them in a 4th here, they're in good intervals. Everybody's in the key of C. So as long as you're in the same key, you should be just fine, okay? And so here, again, when we go back to the D7, I put the riff up an octave, and so then I opened up my intervals to a 6th interval. So now the trumpet is playing the 7th, but up an octave, okay? And the tenor sax, instead of playing this A here up an octave, I opened it up and had the tenor sax play a 6th down from the C, which makes this chord a 9 chord. So it's playing E natural, and then climbs up the scale. Here we have an F, but again, over the E minor, it's in the key of, it's diatonic to the key of C, so the F works just fine. And it's kind of a passing note. It looks like almost a 2 passing, but we have the E and the bass. And then again, the trumpet's up an octave on the E, and then the tenor sax is here on the G below, which is the 9 of the F chord, so it's an F major 9. And then this time on the C, we're coming to the turnaround, so I just did octaves on the 5th of the chord, and then 4, 3 down to the 3rd, and they're just, so in this last 2 bars, they're just in octaves, which works really great. Let's give that a listen.
Cats on counters, traveling to Spain, arts and crafts, ride the bullet train. Go by subway, go by bike, go as you are, meet who you like. Open up another window, my life. I love to hear the birds sing. There's a mouse in.
All right, there you have it. I forgot about this little 2 bars at letter A, 4 bars before B, but it's basically the same as here at letter B, only it's over an F chord. So over this F chord, we have C, which is the 5th, and A, which is the 3rd, and it's a plus 11 chord, so it's Lydian. So the F, there's no B flat, we're in the key of C. So this is truly the 4 chord of the key of C, because it's a B natural, not a B flat like we would have in the key of F major. So it just goes right up the scale in thirds, and then ending on the major 7th and the 5th. So it's just a little pad, okay? So at letter C, we go back and we have the second verse. So in the second verse, I've added some elements here where we have where we have in the 3rd bar, we're doing thirds again over the F chord. So C is the 5th, the 3rd is, and then the A is the 3rd. And then we're kind of borrowing from this. I borrowed from this idea of the piano riff again, and played the 8ths and had the 16ths. And they're not, the trumpet has this 16th figure here, and the tenor sax does not. So again, we're kind of almost contrapuntal, if you will. And then in the second 4 bars, I just did some accents in 6. The trumpet is playing an E, the 3rd, and this tenor sax is down a 6th, playing the 5th. You know, I could have just as easily wrote the tenor sax up here playing the root and C, but I wanted to keep the tenor sax in a warmer part of their range. I didn't want him to get too high and too thin, and keeping in the style and the vibe of the tune. So here I wrote 6s, okay? Here, again, it's 6s, 6 intervals with the trumpet playing the major 7th and the tenor sax playing the 9th. And then here, this is, over this bar is F, this F chord should be right here. It's, again, staying in 6s. The trumpet has the 3rd, and the tenor sax has the 5th, and keeping in the idea of the 1, 2, 3, 4, ba da 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 da. Okay, we're missing a chord symbol here. This should be all C right here. So down to the C, and then again, kind of playing this ba da 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 da. Okay, really moving, lots of 8s, keeping the song moving. So we've added this, for the second verse, we've added these elements. And then again, this is pretty much a repeat of letter B here at letter D. But let's hear this second verse at letter C.
There's a mouse in our closet who will turn on the faucet now. Good for you, good for me. I'd like to plant a seed or two now.
So this is the F chord. I take that back. This F chord here continues on in this bar here. So this is the 6th, so this would be the 5th and the major 7th, continuing on with this and then this is the same riff that we had in the first verse. So we have nice continuity, and this theme keeps. This is basically the basic secondary theme to the singing melody, if you will. And then here again at letter D, the little turnaround over the 2 to the 4 to the 1, again the 2 to the 4 to the 1. It's basically just the same, exactly the same as letter B. Okay? So let's listen to that.
Open up another window, my wife. I love to hear the birds sing.
Okay, so here is basically the hook of the tune. The birds sing at the end of the phrase. So we have A and a B section, and at the end of the B section we have the hook. So this B section could almost be considered a chorus in a way. So here's our verse, here's our chorus. So we've gone A, B, and now we're on to the bridge at letter E. So at letter E, what I did was I had the horns lay out since they just got finished playing. So we give them a rest. We need some contrast. So what I did in the bridge is we're in the key of C, so I went to the relative minor and just worked my way down the scale. Pretty simple, pretty obvious move, just staying diatonic in the key that we're in. It fits the style and the general vibe of the tune. And then the horns come here at the boop ba 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 da, and here we have the trumpet on landing on an A, which is the 5th of D minor, and the tenor playing the E, which is the 9th of D minor. And my idea with the tenor sax here was I wanted to hold a common tone through this passage here, okay? So the tenor sax holds the E, which here is the 9th, but then immediately becomes the major 3rd of the C chord here, and the trumpet is on the A, okay, and then it holds the A, okay, and this is where our quarter resolutions, we talk about quarter resolutions, here's where that comes in. In the second bar of C, the A goes to the C, the E still holds, so now we're in a third interval with the sax on the E and the trumpet on the 5th, and then the trumpet holds. This should really be a dotted half here for the trumpet, and then the tenor does by itself goes down to the C, the root, the trumpet goes down to the 3rd, okay? And all through this, the rhythm section, the bass is just holding one big goose egg tied up all through here. And then at the end of the bridge, we have a breakdown right here where the piano plays the intro again, okay, and reestablishes that main motif that started the tune, that was the nucleus of the tune. Let's listen to letter E. Here it is, the bridge. Okay, and there you have it. And then here at letter F, it's just what I did here. It's a flugelhorn solo. Matt Carr showing his brilliance. When I first wrote the solo, I wrote, I just went C to F. And then I thought, no, it'd be really nice to, instead of, the verse is always starting, the sections are always starting in C, and here in the 5 bars before the bridge were on the 1 chord. So I wanted to flip it and go to the 4 chord, create more contrast, more deviation between parts. So in the solo area, I went just 4, 1. And you notice that the F chord is a +11, so we have the B natural, which is really nice. And in my piano playing, I did some alternating triads, like, you know, F major over F, and then a G major triad over F, and kind of alternating those chords, which really makes, which is Lydian. I love Lydian. It's a beautiful thing. Here's the solo. And here again we have the turnaround. This is just like letter B again, with the hook. I love to hear the birds sing, coming in the last 2 bars of it. Here it is.
Open up another window, my life. I love to hear the birds sing.
Okay, so you'll notice we're coming out of the solo. I could have just as easily at letter G did the verse and this section and gone out with repeating this chorus, the hook here. I love to hear the birds sing, but I like to play around with the form. So out of the bridge we go back to the B section, okay, and then we go to a verse and we go, I love to hear the birds sing, out here in the last system here. So we've kind of like flipped the form around, which makes the form less symmetrical. It's a little more asymmetrical, which is more interesting. It's a little off center, if you will. So here, let's listen. Here's how it ends. We'll start at letter H. Here's the last verse and chorus out.
Cats on counters, traveling to Spain, arts and crafts, take the bullet train. Good for you, good for me, I'd like to plant a seed or two now. The birds sing, the birds sing, the birds sing.
And there you have it. The birds sing.
Cats on counters, traveling